Welcome to the next video titled Working with Emails inside of Dynamics 365 Marketing as part of the Marketing in a Day workshop. My name is Craig Kreskis. I am a cloud solution architect here at Microsoft in the US, and this is another video aligned with the Marketing in a Day workshop. As I've shared with you in previous videos, this is somewhat of a proposed agenda on topics based upon a hands-on labs and providing you as a partner the opportunity to understand the foundation and the fundamentals of Dynamics 365 marketing. In this video, I'm going to focus on emails. It's one of the channels that you will use quite a bit as a pre-sales engineer when you're delivering demos. And so let's go ahead and build out our demo environments with the emails. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with just taking a look at some of the sample emails that are included inside of the application. We're going to copy and paste from one of those emails. We'll then use it to create a new email, and then I'll show you some advanced features you're going to want to understand as you're developing your story and your message in marketing. So to begin, I think the easiest way to get started is to take a look at a sample email inside of the outbound marketing area within the application. So let's get started. Inside of the application, you'll see on the left-hand side under marketing execution, again, I'm set up inside of outbound marketing for now. And you'll see here there are a number of different sample emails that you can take a look at. Choose one. It's all fine. I just want to open up the introduction to chairs. And here, what I want you to do is review the elements. Over on the right pane, on the right side of your toolbox, these are all the elements that you would use in designing your email. So you can drag and drop, insert a text box, image, button, a video, QR code, etc. You can also preview and test your emails. This is where I can preview the screen resolution based on the recipient and what it might look like. So for example, if I select on the mobile portrait, it'll show me what that looks like in a mobile device. And if you refer back to the intro video, I mentioned in one of the settings where we can enable Litmus so that I can track as a marketer what that experience will be on my recipient's inbox, depending on the version of their operating system and also the version of their email client. So again, here, if I switch on the mobile, you can see for when I'm designing an email, what that might look like in an optimized environment for the recipients in a mobile setting. I'll return back to the design tab, and what I want to provide you with kind of a really short and easy tip for pre-sales engineers. If you select on HTML, behind every one of these emails is code, HTML code, which you as a pre-sales engineer can copy and paste and use those in other environments. So what I would recommend you do here in this video is use your keyboard, hit Control A, then select Control plus C. So you now have copied it onto your clipboard, and then go ahead and close out of this window. So from here, now that you have that on your clipboard, we're going to go into real-time marketing, and we're going to go ahead and create a new email, and we're going to actually paste that HTML code that you just copied into a new email. So let's get into the product. So again, switch your application or area, I should say, from outbound marketing to real-time marketing. And like everything else, there's a couple of ways in which you can navigate in the application. I'm always a big firm believer in reducing the number of clicks so that my audience sees the software is easy to use. In this case here, I'm going to go ahead and create an email right from the home page. Now, there are a number of different templates provided to you, or you can skip and just have a blank palette altogether. So I've got a blank canvas. Up at the top right, just as it was in the previous email, select on HTML. Now you're going to do the same thing you did earlier, and that is Control A on your keyboard, and then delete. And now there's nothing on there, and then use Control V, so to paste from that previous email. Then when you close out, you'll see that introduction to the chairs email is now available to me here in real-time marketing. So it is just a simple, easy way for you to port over any emails. I'd also say it's a best practice in going forward as you're designing emails. I always save them either in Word or in Notepad, so this way I can use them in future scenarios. You'll want to rename the email, add a subject, and then save that email. So then when I come into emails now, you see I've got an intro to chairs. It's still in draft status, so I can't use it. I still have the opportunity to change, edit, and add features or add elements to that email. So now that you understand how to copy and paste from HTML, let's go ahead and just create a brand new email inside of real-time marketing. Same thing inside or on the home page, just select on create an email. I'll choose one of the templates, and from here, again, same thing, you want to name your email, you'll add a subject, and by selecting add a subject, you'll see on the right panel, it opens up some information that you're going to need to populate. Number one, I obviously required I need to put in a subject. You can change the reply to email. So here I have got a welcome to the Contoso Coffee, and I've got my physical address, which came in from the default settings. And now on the canvas itself, on the email, I can start to edit and start to build in the properties. So for example, my logo. So when I select on the logo, on the right side, you'll see here I'm given a choice to either browse the library, upload to the library, or insert from an external URL. Since we did upload images in our first video and getting started, obviously I have these images in my library. I'm going to use my Contoso Coffee logo, and I select that, and now that's on my page. I'll next select the body of the email, and I'll draw your attention to the very easy to use email editor toolbar, so I can change the font style or font size, whether I want bold, italic, again, all very simple and easy to use. I can right, center, or left justify, insert a hyperlink, and then if you choose the ellipsis for under, there's additional features here, changing the color, highlight, changing your font style. Once you're done with that, you can see here as an example, I've created the body of my email has kind of a gray background. I've put in a logo or an image of a coffee along with some text, and then a button here down at the bottom. It's a call to action. I can change the text. In other words, here, learn more about our coffee, and then I could link that button to a number of different areas. It could be an event. It could be a link to join inside a team. So for example, if this email is an invitation to join a webinar, or again, anything I want to do is available right here. I'm going to maintain the status of just a URL, and I have that linking to our public website. One more thing to do here, and that is just germane to the opportunity for marketers, especially as they want to help increase their open rates and read rates, and that's adding personalization. So if you put your cursor anywhere on the screen, in my case, I'm going to put it left of the welcome message. Up at the toolbar, you'll see the personalization. And then from here, I could start to insert fields that we've already captured inside of the application, but I want to add the first name as an example. And I'm going to use contacts for this particular email. So now when I generate this email, or when it gets sent out in a customer journey, it'll automatically include that personalization. So I'll hit save. Don't forget, you need to set this as ready to send or publish in order to be used in those journeys. And now you are done with creating your first two emails. Again, we did a copy and paste from one, and then you just designed another email with a blank template. So you're done, you've got your emails. What I'd like to do next, I want to focus on a couple of advanced features that have started to make their way into the application over the last few releases. but they're important for you as a pre-sales engineer to understand the behavior and also how to message this to your audiences. So you can see I've got 4 areas. I'm going to check content, there's a brand profile, content blocks, and content IDs. So let's take a look at the first. So here I have my email. If you didn't hit ready to send, you want to go ahead and check the content. And so under the right arrow, you can see either accessibility checker, which allows me to test for anybody who might be visually impaired to determine whether my font, my colors will be hard for them to read. And then you also have the spam checker, which is part of the artificial intelligence area within marketing that analyzes the content of each of the marketing email messages. I select the spam checker, and again, what this does, it generates a range that will predict how likely the message will be flagged by content-based spam filters. Here you can see my message is good, so I am not as concerned because it's on the low range. The next feature that's advanced within emails is brand profile. This came out in the last fall release. Brand profiles, what they do is allow marketers to create a consistently branded content efficiently inside the organization that may have multiple brands. You know, think of us as Microsoft, and how many brands do we have? How many products do we own? And how many brands do we have? And so that the message that I'm going to send out to my constituent or to my audiences is obviously going to change based on their preferences. Or if you want to put it in more simple terms, you know, a good way to think of this is, you know, I might have an email specific to my retail customers, and I may have a unique message to my wholesale customers. So here I can create one email, but then I can start to control what the experience might be. So if you didn't create it inside of settings, you could do it right here on the fly. I select new brand profile. So the first thing I'll do is name it. So I'll do Contoso Retail, hit save, and then I can have unique senders send these out based on the profile that I'm creating. And I can also have unique social links. So whether it's LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc., I can have these go specific to my retail brand. Save and close, and now you can see I've got this associated to a brand profile. Third area is around content blocks. So content blocks, what I want you to consider, these are pre-made pieces of content that you can insert into emails, and that can be either an image, text, links, buttons, etc. Anything that we can use. And the idea behind the content blocks is it makes it easier for marketers to be building their email messages. Content blocks will be at the bottom left corner. You'll see under assets, and let's go ahead and start to create a new one. So I'm just going to create a new content block. You'll name it just like you would anything else. And I'm going to select text. So I have just on all of our emails, I want to have the same disclaimer. And I just want to make it easy for marketers as they're designing emails to always add the same disclaimer. So I'll go ahead and add text. I'll type my message. So here you can see here's a disclaimer that Contoso Coffee is a demonstration website created and maintained by Microsoft, etc. Under the settings, you can see here that content block can be protected. What this means is that as users are using these content blocks, myself as an administrator has decided I don't want anyone to ever edit or change the disclaimer. And so thus I can allow that to be protected. I'll hit save, and like everything else, ready to send. Now let's come back into the email. I'm going to open up one of my draft emails. And now on the right side, under the elements, you can see that I have content blocks. And now I only have just one for the moment. I'm going to insert that just with the little plus sign. And now you'll see that my disclaimer has been added to the email. Now, if you're asking me, Craig, is that the only place to add content blocks? I mean, what if while I'm designing email, I want to add or create new ones? Well, that is absolutely built into the product in terms of productivity. So for example, if I were to select on this email or this image, you'll see here I have the option to create a content block. So the same thing, I could add a title, associate tags to it to make it easier for search, and then determine whether or not that is protected. While I'm here, one additional new feature, part of the content block, is conditional content. It just as the name implies, it consists of two parts. There's a condition and content. And the combination of these two together is what is called a variation. And so imagine this scenario. I have targeted an audience where, depending on their preferences or interests, may change the images or the text that I might want to send out. And in my scenario, I've got contacts inside of marketing, some of whom reside in Colorado, others do not. So what I want to do is I want to reflect that image based on my audience. So I'm going to add a condition, and I'll call that Colorado. Now the condition you can see here on the drop down, I can make it on attribute or on the segment membership. I'm just going to make it based on their state. Again, I could use my audience, all the fields inside of the database. I can also use triggers, etc., brand profile, compliance. So again, you've got a lot of flexibility on what those conditions will be. I'm going to search on the state to make it real simple. And so here I have my condition as when the state equals Colorado, and then I hit save. Now, the one more step I need to do to complete the variation is I didn't change the image. So I'm going to select on the condition, navigate to properties, and simply replace that with an image of a very famous mountain range in Colorado. I will select that, and then if I come back to the variations, you'll see this in play. So now, anytime I send out an email that's part of the customer journey, and where the customer state is equal to Colorado, this image will appear. If not, then the default image will be the cup of coffee. Again, this is a tremendous productivity gain for the marketers as they're designing their emails. Now, the fourth and last feature I want to talk about is around content ideas. And think of this as a way for you to leverage a brainstorming partner, somebody who's helping build content as you have ideas on how to get started with an email, but you might need a little help or a little nudge, some suggestions. Let's take a look. So I'll create an email. And again, we can go ahead and select any one of the templates, that's fine. Just to the right of our elements, you'll see here, this is where I have these content ideas. Now, again, this feature is in preview. At the time of recording, I'll select Let's Go. And you could describe the content and what it's about. So put in a couple of phrases, sentences that will be part of your email. So in my case here, I have welcome to the coffee company, we'll keep you informed, join the loyalty program. And you could add up to 5 key messages, so I added a 4th one. And then I select Get Ideas. Now this took me just a few moments, and then once it was done, I was provided with a couple of different suggestions. Now it's up to us as marketers or you as pre-sales, obviously, to be responsible for the final copy, that it's accurate, but what this does, it just gives me a head start. And then all I need to do is select Add to my draft. I'll insert the email, and then you could see I'm off and running. Now, if you want help around content ideas, again, this is just an easy way to express their thoughts or get started, but you can select the question mark, and this kind of gives you a little bit kind of an understanding about how this is generated, how does the technology work. So just giving you kind of a little sense here. And that is the idea around content ideas. So again, these are just advanced features, but really important to demonstrate to you. So as you're designing your emails, as you're having conversations with your prospects and customers, you could better understand what content, checking content is, the brand profile, the content blocks, and content ideas. So the idea in this video was to show you a sample email, copy and paste. We'll create a few new emails and then dive into some of the advanced new features. That kind of concludes the section or this video around emails as part of the Marketing in a Day workshop. Again, as I mentioned in previous videos, we have more videos to come to support you on the foundation and on your journey as you're learning about Dynamics 365 marketing. I want to thank you so much for your time and your investment. If you're interested in learning more about some of the live events that we host in the US, I provided a link down the bottom left corner. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in our next video series. Thank you very much.